Laughing Loon presents Building Ootek, Part 8. The kayak pictured here is Ootek, designed and being built by Rob Max. The building shown here is a condensed version of the more detailed information in my instruction books and how-to videos available on my website. In Part 7 of Building Ootek, we installed the cockpit coaming lamination under the deck, which is the foundation for building the rest of the cockpit coaming. Cockpit coaming is made of 16th-inch veneers, which are laminated together to form the riser and the lip of the cockpit coaming. The veneers are clamped to the cockpit coaming form until the glue cures. I'm installing a day hatch, so I'll have a bulkhead behind the cockpit seat and then one between the day hatch and the rear hatch. I've clamped a straight edge at the location of the bulkhead behind the seat, and I'm measuring to locate where the bulkhead between the day hatch and the rear hatch will be. I'm using magnets to transfer the measurement from the deck to underneath the deck, so I can accurately locate the bulkheads. I cut out the day hatch opening, and I'm taking measurements from the bow to locations for the fore bulkhead and where my deck lines will be located. I drill all my holes for my deck lines with an oversized bit so that I will seal those holes with epoxy. I'm going to protect the stem edge with a layer of fiberglass. I'm pre-wetting the surface, and then this allows me to press the bias cut fiberglass into place and then finish the wet out with a brush. And then I'll squeegee off excess resin. I'm applying a layer of bias cut glass on this area of the deck where the deck hull edges were bare, and I applied veneers near the tip of the bow. Pressing the dry glass into the pre-wetted surface allows me to bend around sharper deck hull angles, and then I finish wetting out with a foam brush. The lamination for the coaming riser, which you saw glued up earlier, is now placed in the cockpit opening, and spring clamps clamp the riser to the ledger glued under the deck edge previously. I mark the height of the coaming with a pencil and a block tool, and then scribe the underside edge of the deck to the coaming riser, and I draw a line where the riser meets the deck. Then I take the coaming riser lamination over to the bandsaw, where I'll cut the under deck edge. And then I cut the riser height edge. So now the riser lamination fits the shape of the deck and defines how high the cockpit coaming will be. The mirror image of the riser lamination is trimmed and scribed and fit to create the cockpit riser. The riser deck edge is coated with epoxy and clamped in place. A fillet is applied to the deck riser joint to strengthen it. A bead of epoxy is squeezed out, and then a rounded stick forms the fillet, and then sharp edge tool removes the excess. A 1/4 inch thick slice of the 5/8 inch wide lamination for the cockpit lip is fit to the riser and then glued in place to create the lip of the cockpit coaming. Wood blocks are fitted to the bow and stern to create the round egg-type handles. They're pre-shaped and then rounded with rough sandpaper. Here I'm leveling the top of the riser edge with the coaming lip using a spoke shave. My hatch covers are held with rare earth magnets. The deck cutouts are 3/16 of an inch thick. I need to pad that thickness so that I can recess magnets into the underside of the hatch cover. This wood panel is cut to follow the shape of the hatch cutout. I'll add a section of wood under the hatch cover to recess my magnets into. To account for the new thickness of the hatch cover, I'll have to add a similar thickness under the deck before I install a deck lip for the hatch cover to rest on. These shaped pieces of wood padding are fit to the underside of the hatch cover where magnets will be recessed into this area. They're glued in place with epoxy. In the upper left you can see what a finished hatch cover will look like with the magnets recessed around the perimeter. Before a lip can be glued under the deck for the hatch cover to rest on, we have to accommodate for the new thickness of the hatch cover with the magnets recessed. So this padded section of wood is glued in place before the deck lip will be installed. In part 9 of building Ootek, we'll finish construction of our rare earth magnet hatch covers. For more information on my strip building techniques, see my shop tips pages at laughingloon.com. Full plans for the sea kayak Ootek, along with many other canoe and kayak plans, instruction books, and how-to videos are available at my website, laughingloon.com.